Hello and welcome to OMBA 580. I'm Dan Falvey. I'm Associate Professor of Management and Chair of the Business and Management Programs at Baker University's School of Professional and Graduate Studies. I thought I'd introduce myself quickly in this brief video. I've been with Baker for 7 years. I've taught over 60 courses, and about a quarter of them have been online courses like this one. Before joining Baker University, I had over 30 years of experience in the business world at 3 Fortune 100 companies, where I worked at the director level from 5 to 25 years. So I bring quite a wealth of corporate experience to our classroom, and hope it will add to the richness of your learning. If you're interested in knowing more about my background, I've posted a little bio that tells a little more. It's under course materials, and I think I labeled it Dr. Dan's bio. So please take a look at that if you're interested. Now about our course. Hopefully your class rep has received and distributed the syllabus that I prepared for the course. And if you've gotten it, I hope you weren't shocked. It's probably the longest one you've gotten so far and that you may ever get. But I like to communicate with the class reps in advance and learn as much as I can about the students in the class so that I can customize the syllabus down to individual assignments and learning team assignments. So I assume you've taken a look at it and have an idea as to what the course requirements are, but let me take just a minute to talk quickly about all of the major assignments so that I can kind of steer you toward the level of effort that'll be required at various points during the course. First of all, the first assignment, which is really a brief paper due in class 2, is a self-assessment that you'll write from the perspective of someone that you either lead today, have led in the past, or if you've not had any leadership experience, perhaps you'll have to write it from the perspective of someone whom you might potentially lead in the future. And you'll be answering the 13 questions that you'll read about on page 28 of First Break All the Rules. And again, answering those questions from the perspective of someone who's evaluating your leadership. That'll be due in class 2, and I'll talk more about it in my class 2 video. The biggest assignment is the second one listed in the syllabus, and it's your leadership development plan. And it's a lengthy paper that I hope you will be working on throughout the course. Its purpose is to explain what you've learned from the course and apply it in developing a plan that you will follow in developing your own leadership potential going forward. That'll be due in class 6, and I'll talk a lot more about that throughout the class. Third, each of you will have the opportunity to report on a leading business book, and you'll find the leadership book list at our Moodle site, and you'll also find a discussion board there where you can first check to see that no other student has already selected the book you're interested in, and then sign up for the book that you're interested in at that discussion board. That's how we'll make sure that everybody selects a book and that no two people select the same book. So you can be working on that anytime, but that'll be due completed, that selection made by class 2. Next, each week a couple, maybe 3 students will have been assigned to present an individual article review. They will read articles that are listed in the syllabus that may be of interest to all of you, but they'll read them, each student will read one of them, and then do a synopsis of the article for us at our Moodle site. Students will read all the synopses and respond to any one of them each week. Now for the learning team assignments, each week, each learning team will pick an internet, journal or magazine or newspaper article on the general theme for that week. This week's theme is leadership and talent. Later weeks, we'll be talking about leadership and influence, and leadership and change, and leadership and ethics. So this is a self-directed kind of an activity, so your team can search for any article on any topic that's of interest to them within the theme for that week's class. And you'll post those learning team assignments each week, and each student will be required to read each of those postings. In week 2, each learning team will do a presentation on an assigned chapter from First Break All the Rules by Marcus Buckingham and Kurt Kaufman. So be planning how you're going to organize your report on your chapter. You just have to report on one chapter, and there are detailed instructions on what to include in your report in our syllabus. In weeks 3 through 6, each learning team will take a turn at leading a class discussion on the articles that were assigned for reading during those weeks. First 2 weeks will concentrate on First Break All the Rules, and then weeks 3 through 6 will be reading articles from the Harvard Business Review and Leader to Leader Journal. In each week, one learning team will present on the articles for that week and try to reinforce them. We'll all have read them, but the learning teams will reinforce them by recovering them online for us to review the high points. And finally, in week 5, each learning team will have a choice as to whether to evaluate and analyze the Seagate Technologies case that you can find online under the course reserves at the Collins Virtual Library, or a case study on an ethical dilemma, which I'll describe in much more detail as we get closer to class 5. Your choice. And I might mention that most learning teams have chosen to do the ethical dilemmas, and unhappily there seems to be no dearth of real ethical dilemmas that students have faced in their employment histories. And I suppose that could be the case with our class as well. To make the most of our online format, I hope you'll find it interesting and maybe fun that for most assignments, both individual assignments and learning team assignments, you'll have a choice as to whether to submit your reports or presentations in the traditional way by posting a Word or PowerPoint document at our Moodle site, or you can do as I'm doing right now and create a brief video tape using your webcam and your laptops, and post that to a site like YouTube and give us a link, or embed it directly at our Moodle site. You can get help from the technical support folks if you decide on that option. I think that would be a fun way to do your presentations, maybe not all of them, but some that you guys want to get together to work on. And I'd find it interesting. I think probably the rest of the class would find it interesting to see a few of the presentations, if not all of them, done using videos like this one. Most assignments, as you'll see in the syllabus, are due on Wednesday by midnight of each week. And then the rest of the class has Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday until midnight to review the postings made by Wednesday at midnight and to post a response. Usually I require one response to each of the postings that are made, or at least one of the postings that are made if there are more than one. It's very important to keep up in this online class, as you've no doubt discovered by this point in your program, because once we close out a week, it's really difficult to go back and make up work, and most of us have moved on and won't look back at the content for the previous week after Sunday at midnight. So please keep up and let me know if you're having trouble keeping up, and we'll work out a way for you to do so that you can successfully complete the class. I'd like to get to know a little more about all of you before we get the course started. So I think I'll set up a discussion board at our Moodle site that I might label Getting Acquainted or something like that. And if you have a minute to go to that discussion board and either jot a little bit about yourself and who you are, or attach a photograph, a bigger one than the little thumbnails we can see in Moodle, that'd be great. Or if you want to post a here's a little bit about me YouTube video for us to take a look at. That'd be great too. I'm sure many of you have met each other throughout the class, the courses you've had, and have gotten acquainted, but it would help me a lot if I could see you or hear a little from you before we dive into the content. I plan to do a little introduction video like this for each week's module. And the purpose will be to kind of introduce you to the content and give you any reminders of tips and techniques that I'd suggest as you attack this week's content. Throughout the course, I'll be checking Moodle probably every day or every other day at least. And I have set up a discussion board there called Ask Dr. Dan, which is a way for you to ask questions that you don't mind or maybe that you want the rest of the class to see my response to. Don't use that site, of course, for personal questions like why didn't I get my points for my class 3 presentation or something. Send me an email. My Baker email is by far the best way to get me. It's dan.falvey, F-A-L-V-E-Y, at bakeru.edu. And I check my Baker email almost every day, whether I'm in the office or not. So that's by far the best way to get a hold of me. And I'll try to respond to you immediately. If you post a question at the Ask Dr. Dan site, expect me to take a little longer to find it and to answer it, but I'll do my best to keep up with those postings as the course proceeds. Well, you know how to contact me if you need me. I'll be looking forward to working with you throughout the course, and I hope you will too. Please start week 1 by reviewing the week 1 video that I've posted there. Thanks, and I'll see you online.